All right, looks like I'm live. So I found this pay stub in a house I'm redoing. It's from 1963. You can see it's coming from Dayton's Corporation. Dayton's it was based out of Minneapolis. It was the retailer that became Target. So Target came out of Dayton's in Minnesota. So this was pre-Target days, 1963. The number of hours worked for this pay stub was 16 hours, and the hourly rate was $1.15 an hour for gross earnings of $18.40. There's tax withheld, so net pay was $14.88, and this was July 13th, 1963. I had to take off a social security number there for obvious reasons. But I thought it was kind of interesting to see what the differences on today are. And I ran some rough numbers here. So if the minimum wage in 1963 was $1.15, today that minimum wage in this state is $10.85. But if I go to Target and look for a job, their just starting job is $16.50. So I ran two comparisons. So one at $16.50 an hour and the other one at $10.85 an hour. So most jobs are paying over minimum wage right now. I don't think that was the case in 1963. So if it were 1963 and you were going to go buy a brand new Ford Falcon sedan, that price would have been $2,162 to go buy a Ford Falcon 1963. If you were at $16.50 an hour working for Target today and you were to go buy a brand new 2024 Ford Edge, that would be $29,495. So if you were to buy that Ford Falcon in 1963 at $1.15 per hour, that would take you 1,880 working hours to pay for that car. If you were to be working at Target for $16.50 an hour today, and you wanted to buy that 2024 Ford Edge, you would have to work 1,787.50 and a half hours. So you'd have to actually work less at $16.50 an hour than you would have to at minimum wage in 1963 to get a brand new car sedan. There's a bigger difference if you're at $10.85 an hour. So that would be about 2,700 hours you'd have to work. Now, the median home price in 1963 was $19,613. And that median home price today, this is nationally, it's, rough numbers and how medians work, but at least it's trying to compare apples to apples. $398,358. So $398,358 for the median house price in 2024. At $16.50 an hour, working minimum wage, it would take you 24,142 hours to pay for that home. If you were to buy that median home in 1963 at minimum wage, $19,613 home, it would take you 17,054 hours to pay for that home. So obviously home prices have increased above inflation. But let's say you're going to go buy a McDonald's hamburger. I tried to do the Big Mac, but I don't think the Big Mac goes back to 1963. So I think that only goes back to the early 70s. But they did have the McDonald's hamburger in 1963, and that was 15 cents for a McDonald's hamburger. And today that same hamburger is $2.54. And interesting, that's 0.13 hours you'd have to work to buy it in 1963, and it'd be 0.15 hours you'd have to work for it in 2024. So not much has changed there, no inflation or anything. But now let's say you want to go to a ball game. So I looked up the Minnesota Twins grandstand tickets. In 1963, it would be $2 to go see a Twins game. It would take you 1.1 3/4 hours to pay for that ticket. Today, if you wanted to go see a Twins game at the grandstand, it would be $49 for that ticket. It would take you almost 3 hours to pay for that ticket. So almost twice as much, inflation adjusted. So I thought that was interesting. Obviously, this was one of the kids that lived in that house's pay stub. I don't think the person who owned that house was making this kind of money. I tried to look up and see what that house cost back in 1963. I'm going to guess it was in the neighborhood of probably in that 19,000 range. Today it's about 500,000. So it's come a long ways. But this pay stub is basically Target in 1963. So that is the parent company of Target, Dayton Hudson Corporation. So thought I would share that. I thought it was kind of fun to look at. So that's all I got. I'm signing off for tonight. I got a lot of snow to shovel in the morning. We got a blizzard rolling through now. So I will talk to you soon.